Charleston celebrates its 350th anniversary this year, and to commemorate that, Charleston Pirate Tours brings you Charleston History Highlights. Hi, Eric with Charleston Pirate Tours. I'm in downtown Charleston, down here at Waterfront Park. I want to tell you a story about the ship that's across the harbor over here, the Yorktown at Patriots Point. But I'm not going to talk about the history of the ship tonight. And more importantly, I want to talk about somebody that served aboard that ship. Now, this wasn't your typical sailor because, well, this individual was on 4 legs. Of course, I'm talking about Scrappy Shrapnel, the mascot of that vessel. Now, where did Scrappy come from? Well, when the Yorktown started out during the Second World War, it was going to be based at Pearl Harbor. So one day while it was sitting at dock, some of the men are on shore leave, walking around, looking at some of the ruins after the Japanese attack. And they noticed this dog just running around out there. It was a very friendly dog, going up to people and very interactive. Well, the guys were inquiring as to who this dog belonged to. Well, nobody would claim the dog. So what'd they do? They stuck him in an oil can and smuggled him aboard the ship. So they needed a mascot, they thought. So now they are miles away out at sea. Well, here comes Captain Jocko Clark walking around, and all of a sudden, there was a dog barking at him on the flight deck. Well, he's going, what in the, well, I won't repeat what he said, but let's just say he was not pleased to see a dog on his ship. So he's inquiring, what is this dog doing on the ship? And they said, sir, we brought him aboard. We were going to name him Jock. Of course, name him after the captain, Jocko Clark. He said, well, I guess it's all right. He can stay. And so they decided to name the dog Scrappy. Scrappy Shrapnel was his full name. Well, Scrappy stayed aboard the ship, I guess about 8 months before one of the men who had brought him aboard was discharged, and he took Scrappy home with him, and he lived out his life in San Diego, California. But you know, old Scrappy loved that ship so much, he's still there. Oh yeah, he's still there. In fact, lots of people have had some interesting encounters. I mean, the steel deck of that ship, it's, you know, it can be loud if somebody has heavy shoes or leather bottom shoes, but a very distinct sound of toenails really rings out on that steel deck, and many people have heard those clickety 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 of nails running around that steel deck. I've actually been on the ship before giving a tour, and I've had a dog bark at me. Yeah, there's no dogs on that ship, at least none that they know of, except old Scrappy. And one of my buddies, Sims is a guide over there, had a very interesting encounter. This was on December the 26th in 2017. He had a nice family on a tour. They were in town for the holidays. They wanted to do a ghost tour on the Yorktown. So he agreed to do it. So they're up in the forecastle. Now the forecastle is short for the word forecastle. That's in the forward end of the ship up, and they're looking at the anchor chain. It is stretched out across the forecastle up there. And while he's up there talking with them about some of that history, they hear something on the catwalk over their head. The distinct sound of toenails on that steel catwalk. And so they all sort of back up and look. At first they thought, well, maybe it's a possum or maybe it's a fox. But no, it was an Airedale dog trotting down the catwalk. Even stopped and gave him a little bark. Trotted on through, jumped through the door of the bulkhead, and disappeared. And my buddy Sims is going, why in the world didn't I take out my camera and take a picture? Who's going to believe me that I saw the ghost of Scrappy tonight with this family? Just so happened the lady with the family had her camera at the ready and took a great picture of old Scrappy looking back through the hatchway. He's still there. So next time you're on the Yorktown walking around, you hear something barking at you, believe me, folks, it's real. Old Scrappy's still there. Happy birthday, Charleston.